Alright, we're going to do a reaction video. Marie sent this to me to react to, so I hope my window position here is alright. Let's go.
Let's talk competition. Over and over again, we hear the same response from the companies when workers ask for their fair share. We have to remain competitive. The real question is, competitive with who? If you ask the CEOs, they'll say they need to keep wages and benefits low to compete with non-union automakers. They really mean Big Three auto workers need to compete with other workers in a race to the bottom. But the numbers tell a different story. In this one chart, you can see the entire economic story of the Big Three over the past few years. In just 4 years, Big Three profits in North America have shot up 65%. Business is booming. Want to talk competition? The Big Three are competing for who can pocket the most cash. Over that same period, CEO pay has skyrocketed by 40%. They're absolutely rolling in the money. They're competing for who gets the biggest executive compensation package. The average pay of CEOs at Toyota, Nissan, Honda, Kia, Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes is a whopping $5 million a year. And that's nothing compared to CEO pay at the Big Three. The average pay of the CEOs at Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis is an astronomical $25 million a year. Big Three CEOs make 500% more than their counterparts make at non-union rivals. But you don't hear anyone talking about how excessive executive pay at the Big Three is making the...
I mean, maybe we should make the workers at the Big Three earn 500 times more than their counterparts.
Company's uncompetitive. In 4 years, Big Three spending on stock buybacks is up a staggering 1,500%. They're competing over who can send the most money to their friends on Wall Street. In a 4-month period during the pandemic, Mary Barra personally made almost $70 million in stock sales. How was your pandemic? Average new car prices are up 34%. They're price gouging the hell out of the American consumer. The Big Three are competing with their own customer base to see how sky high they can raise prices without raising wages, quality, or service. Wonder why inflation's up 20%? There's a big part of your answer. And auto workers' wages are up a mere 6% over the last 4 years. The cost of labor for the Big Three is around 4 to 5% of total operations. Think about that. They could double our wages, not raise car prices, and still make billions of dollars in profit. They're competing with their own workforce, seeing how much of the profits they can hoard before we stand up. That's what the CEOs mean by competition. Competition with each other for the fattest CEO paycheck. Competition with the consumer for the highest profit margin. And competition with the workers for the lowest possible pay. The Big Three want you to believe that what we are asking for is dangerous and unrealistic. What's truly unrealistic is to keep making record profits year after year and then think that the workers who made those profits are just going to settle for the scraps.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, one of the big problems in corporate greed, right, is that, and Wall Street's involved in this, Wall Street and corporate greed, because your stock prices are going to go down if you don't make more profit this year than you did last year. And so basically Wall Street, as investors who are dependent on rising stock prices to make profits in the stock market, are going to get upset if you don't make more profit this year than you did last year. And so that is pretty much expecting and demanding exponential growth perpetually. Perpetual growth is not sustainable. You're not going to be able to accomplish that ever for any amount of time. That's why we have a boom and bust cycle of about 10 years. Because the way this economy is structured, it is destined and doomed to fail repeatedly. Because you cannot have perpetual growth. A more sustainable model for Wall Street and investment and all this stuff would be consistent profit. For stockholders, that would be dividends. Stockholders should demand dividends, and a lot of times the dividends are horrifically low compared to the stock price. So what the companies want people to do, or what Wall Street wants the companies to do, is drive their profits up so that the stock price goes up. So they can sell high and buy low, sell high. And that, again, is essentially gambling that you're going to be able to buy low enough and then have the company's profits skyrocket and the stock goes up.
What's truly dangerous is for corporations and the billionaire class to continue making out like bandits while the working class gets left further and further behind.
The workers united will never be defeated.
That's why these companies and the corporate media are so desperate to try and convince the American people that unions are the problem. We are not the problem. This so-called competition is the problem. Corporate greed is the problem. And our solidarity is the solution. When working class people stand up, when working class people fight for economic and social justice, when working class people go on strike, we can end the race to the bottom. We can stop competing for scraps and start building an economy that works for the working class.
Stop!